Well, a man calls into Jonny D's show lately, I guess, asking for advice because he failed to be a patriarch in his marriage. I think that's what we could really boil it down to, that he failed to be a patriarch, made a few cardinal mistakes. And we're going to point out there's at least two cardinal mistakes that he made in failing to be a patriarch. Let's listen to the story and get to it here.
So a whole lot of things 7 months ago, married this amazing, beautiful woman. We started dating approximately 3 years ago and moved really fast. I mean, she was the unicorn that every guy dreams of running into. She started.
Hold on a second. So she's an amazing, beautiful woman, and they moved so fast. They've been dating 3 years. What? If it moves so fast in three, I guess his definition of fast and mine are two different things. You know, my wife, we've been married, 14 years now. We were engaged for 6 months and married not even a year from our first date. Okay. Now, to me, that's moving fast. 3 years, I don't know if it's that fast, but anyway, we'll keep moving.
Started off kind of as a client of mine through a hobby job that I was doing, and then we had both recently, ended previous relationships and kind of found confidence in each other and quickly snowballed into a relationship. And same hobbies, same interests, same everything. And we got married in May. I had brought a lot of baggage into the relationship, financial.
I wonder what these same hobbies are that he had with. I don't know very many guys that have the same hobbies that their wife does. Like, makes me wonder what kind of guy this is. Like, that seems odd. Give me a comment below if you think that seems odd. Like, you have the same hobbies as your wife. Like, boy. Okay.
And entered this marriage not really standing on my 2 feet, just trying to play catch up with life and bad decisions in the past. I had brought a lot of baggage into the relationship, financially, and entered this marriage not really standing on my 2 feet, just trying to play catch up with life and bad decisions in the past.
Okay, so patriarch mistake number one. He entered into the marriage with a lot of financial baggage so that he can't stand up and be the head of his home because he probably has a lot of debt and whatever else. I don't know what else, but we'll just notice that as he goes on, probably a lot of debt, financial baggage, and we all know that women hate financial baggage. You better be there to provide, protect, and procreate with the woman, okay? Or else you're probably going out the door. Now, is that uncharitable? Maybe, but I'm just saying that's usually how it goes, right? You better be there, provide, protect, and procreate, or else you're out the door. This guy set himself up for disaster right off the bat. Let's keep listening, though.
And everything was great up until planning the marriage. Our relationship had kind of gotten a little rocky there for a little bit, and I kind of alluded it to, just the stress of planning a wedding and planning a marriage. And, post wedding, we had that little honeymoon phase and things just never really ironed themselves out. And so we started going to couples counseling, at the beginning of June. And
so they started going to couples counseling because he said they'd been married 7 months. Man, that's not long. 7 months. Financial baggage doesn't take long before you're going to marriage counseling. Okay, you got to. If the finances are awesome, well, that's going to take you a while longer to get to marriage counseling. But if the finances suck, 7 months or less than that, a couple months, you go to marriage counseling. All right, let's listen.
First session was great. I made it adamant. I'm all in. Just personal values, upbringing, be all in to work on your marriage, and lean into it. And so I was all in. Our therapist gave us homework. We came back the following week and she dropped a bombshell, that she had gone back through a money tracking app that we had started doing together, to kind of manage finances, kind of build a budget out. And she had found where I had basically paid for porn. I didn't deny it when she brought it up. I admitted to it. It was something that I had struggled previously with, years and years and years ago. Wouldn't necessarily say addicted to it, but struggled with it. I'd stopped and then kind of relapsed back into it in the last year and a half. And about August, I kind of had that realization of, I'm a married guy, I've got a wife. What am I doing? And stopped cold turkey.
Stop cold turkey. Well, now let's back. Now, obviously, this is sins of the flesh. Can't be paying for OnlyFans or the corno, whatever you want to call it. Sins of the flesh, that's bad. That's wrong. Don't be doing that. Okay. Now, the thing that's odd, though, so they come and they get their finances together and they're coming as equals to the financial counselor that we're doing that. We're getting the finances, blah, 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 blah. Why? If you're a patriarch, you don't need to come as equals. You say, here's the money. You're going to get this amount per month, wife, and that's all you're getting. Okay. This is the budget that I have created because I am the leader and probably I am the one making the lion's share of the money. I've created this budget. Here it is. And you're going to get X amount. And that's what you'll get because this is what I've decided you're going to get. That doesn't mean you get access to all the different bank accounts and funds that the house of Jim has, or whatever this guy's name is, right? This is the way the patriarch language was. You had the house of Abraham, the house of David, the house of Jacob, this is the house of Jim, or whoever this guy named it. You don't get access to all the funds of the house of Jim, right? He's the patriarch. He has access. He is the one who controls that. You get a loving stipend out of the house of Jim or whoever it is. That's fine. That's what men have been doing for the past 10,000 years. And okay, there's a budget, blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing this together? That was mistake number one. What is going on here? You are the leader. You are the patriarch. You don't need your wife's permission for anything. These are the finances. Here's what I'm going to give you. Please adhere to this because if you spend more than this, there will be no more. That is it. Okay. That's a good place to start. Mistake number one right there. What is this egalitarian nonsense that we're talking here? Let's keep going.
But she went through that money app and did some digging and investigating on her own and found it. I tried to cover it up. There was an app where you could change the name of the charges and things like that. I had seen it on there. I tried to cover it up out of shame and guilt. Never admitted it to her out of shame and guilt. I had told her that I had previously had a problem with porn.
All right, so here's mistake number two. He admits to his wife that he has problem with the corn, and that's bad. That's a sin of the flesh. No man should be indulging in that. Obviously, PostMillMan here agrees 100%. We agree. Here's the thing, though. Don't confess to your wife. Why are you confessing to your wife? You go to your boys and you confess to them. You go to your elders and you confess to them. You go to your pastor, you confess to him. You don't go to your wife and confess. This is not good. All right, what are you doing? Like this is idiotic behavior. You go to if you're Catholic, you go to your priest and you say, "Hey, listen, I messed up. Got to confess. I need accountability. Let's talk through this." Why are you confessing to your wife as she is an equal? No, you are the leader. You are the patriarch. You are the one that she needs to look up to for this thing. Not that you can never ask forgiveness for something if you've sinned against her somehow, some way. If you sin against her, then okay, confess. If this is a personal thing, like, lust of the flesh, blah, 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 go talk to that with your pastor, with your elders, with your boys, accountability partner, not some woman. Right. She needs to look up to you as the leader. Wrong behavior as a patriarch.
I had previously had a problem with porn and admitted that to her later in our relationship out of a fear of being vulnerable to her and being judged for it. And I guess when she did her whole investigating.
Sounds like it was a pretty founded fear to have out of fear of being vulnerable and being judged for it. Yeah, that's why you keep these types of things with your boys, with your accountability partners, elders, pastor, priest, whatever. You're the patriarch, my friend. You're the leader. She needs to look up to you. What are you doing? Okay, done. This is problem number 2.
I found it blew up to I can't be trusted. She called me a cheater a couple times, which hurt the most, because I would never. While I understand that porn, some people don't look at it as cheating, I would never act on that. I would never physically step out of my marriage.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. But the trust thing is the hardest part.
Yeah. Now, again, this is wrong. Looking at adult content is wrong. Lust of the flesh is wrong. We all agree. Okay. But for her to say, yes, this is the same as cheating. I mean, come on. No, it's not. That'd be like if a woman, now, they say the equivalent of this for women is reading trashy romance novels. So it'd be like the equivalent of a woman reading trashy romance novels, having fantasies about the men portrayed in the trashy romance novels, because men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with what they hear, or in this instance, read. So they fantasize about this, fantasizing about Christian Grey or this type of person. And the husband says, listen, you've cheated on me. Now it's time for divorce. No, that's wrong. I mean, you would say, listen, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be fantasizing about other men. Blah. This is lust of the flesh. You shouldn't. This is bad. And you need to not do that. Okay. But to say this is an affair, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. They're saying, well, Jesus said, if you look at a woman with lust in your heart, you've committed adultery in your heart. Now that's key there. Just like if you hold hatred for somebody, you've committed murder in your heart. In your heart, okay? Does that mean you've actually committed murder? No, because then you would be executed. Okay, so it's a lot different. It just means the nature of our heart is sinful, and we need to watch the state of our heart. Obviously, we shouldn't be lusting after others. We shouldn't be hating others. That's the point Jesus was making in that. Not that these are literally committing adultery and literally committing murder. It's the shape of the heart, which we need him to cleanse our hearts as we're going into Easter Sunday here in a couple of days. We need him to cleanse our heart, cleanse us from all unrighteousness, to be able to walk with the Spirit in righteousness. Okay. This is not what we're saying. This is not a real affair, though. Either way, whether it's the man looking at naughty pictures, it's the woman reading trashy romance novels, fantasizing about those things. These are both lust of the flesh. They're not real adultery. You got to make that distinction. Anyway, let's move on.
Does she feel like she can't trust me? And she basically said that she needed some time to think, and our therapist suggested the 1 week no contact. That was the hardest, longest week of my life, I thought at the time. And we reconvened, and she walked into the therapy session late. I noticed she didn't.
This guy must be a real beta. If 1 week and his wife's not there, and this is the longest week of my life, blah, 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 blah. Now, even PostMillMan, I love my wife. I like being around my wife. But if my wife wasn't here for a week, I'd probably go for a motorcycle trip. And there's about 20 things I can think to do with me and my boys and have a great time if she's not here for a week. I wouldn't be sitting around like this. And I love my wife. My wife's great. I love spending time with her. But what on earth, man? You got to get a life. You got to get a life for sure. My goodness. Like, you got to get some boys, get some fraternity, get something going here rather than this. This is a stat. Now, I know this is a sad state of men. I think they say there's a loneliness epidemic, especially with men. I think even with women it's growing, but especially with men. This guy, case in point, loneliness epidemic. My wife left for a week, and it was the worst week ever, blah, blah. I mean, do you have anything? You got any boys you can talk to? Any of your bros? My goodness. If you don't have that, you got to fix that, my friend.
When I started walking the door, my heart immediately sank, because that was the first thing that I noticed, that she wasn't wearing her wedding band. And she sat down and said she wanted a divorce. And my life has been basically crumbled since then. So we're a month.
And sounds like this man put this woman on a pedestal and just basically worshiped her. As soon as she's out of his life, my life has just crumbled, fell apart since then. Now, if you had built a family with this woman, like if you'd spent a decade or more having multiple children with this woman, and then she left, I say, you built something that's eternal there. You have eternal beings that you birthed here that are both of yours. I say, yeah, I mean, that's going to take a while to recover from. You have memories there and all that kind of stuff. This woman's been with you for 7 months. You have no children, and oh, it's a devastating thing. You are a beta male, my friend. You gotta get a relationship, one with God, with Christ, and move on. Get some fraternity, get some bros to hang out with. Your wife's gone for a week. Oh, I can't figure out what to do. What?
Month post that last therapy session, our therapist suggested we each individually see therapists. Again, I dove all in. I've been meeting with my therapist weekly, here more recently bi-weekly. Man, I'm all in, trying to do better for myself, fix my problems, my vulnerability, my honesty problems, vagueness problems, and trying to figure out how I can, earn my wife.
You need to fix your beta male problems, I think. Forget about all that other stuff. You need to be a leader. You need to be a patriarch. You need to be a man. Stop being in this egalitarian nonsense with this woman. Obviously, she doesn't like it. I mean, so be a man, be a patriarch, stand up.
Vagueness problems, and trying to figure out how I can, earn my wife. I still refer to my wife, although she's filed for a divorce.
So she has filed paperwork?
Yeah, she's filed paperwork. She's gotten her lawyer. I got my lawyer just to protect myself. And
how can I'm trying to figure out how can I earn my wife back? I think he said, now that she's filed for divorce, how can I earn her back? Listen, my friend, you got to get some bros that actually have some wisdom. You're not earning a woman back. That's not how it works. You might somehow, some way be able to attract her back, but earning her back? No, you're not earning her back. Let's see what Jonny D has to say, though, here.
Kind of letting the lawyers, do their thing, but I'm still.
Okay, but so you have to exhale that this is over.
Yeah.
And you haven't yet, have you?
No, I'm still trying to hold on. I'm still trying to fight.
Now, it sounds like this is good advice from Guy. You have to exhale. This is over. I think he's true. It's over because I think the man just couldn't provide the finance. If I'm reading, he doesn't ever say it in here, but if I'm reading between the lines, I think he couldn't ever provide the finances. And we all know that there's no romance without finance. No romance without finance. And so he's just saying, hey, listen, this is over. Now, for the next time you get a woman, you get a wife, remember, be the patriarch, be the man, make sure you can provide, protect, and procreate with the woman, or else you're going to be out on your butt again. Okay, that's how it works. This is called reality.
I'm willing to do anything to show her that I'm all in.
I know, but you got to hear her say she doesn't care.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to hear. So how can I help you, man? I hate that you're going through all this.
I don't know. I understand. I've got to go through the self-healing process first. I'm still going.
Well, you do, but
really just move. I'm in a hole, and I'm just trying to figure out, how that light at the end of the hole.
Yeah, stop digging.
Yeah,
stop digging.
Okay.
Here's why. I wrote this down. When you first started talking, you came into this marriage thinking you were less than her.
Oh, now this is, I know usually I don't like Jonny D that much, but this is true. This is true. I really like what he said. You are behaving and thinking, definitely behaving, that you are less than her. No woman wants to be with a man that is less than her. She wants a man she can look up to as her head, not as an equal. All women say, oh, yes, I want to be in an equal relationship, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense. Baloney. No, they do not. They want a man who is a superior, who they can look up to, who is taller, stronger, more confident, more financially stable. All those, that's what they want. And that's what they will get. They will not settle most times for anything less than that. They got to have it. This guy, Jonny D's right. You're less than. You need to go into the next relationship because obviously this woman's not coming back, this wife. You need to go into the next one saying, I am going to be a biblical patriarch who is going to be the head, who is going to be the superior, and you are going to want to follow this superior. And if you don't, there's a door, get out. I mean, don't say that, but anyway.
Probably attracted me. Like you came in thinking, oh my gosh, look at the fish I got on this line.
Yeah.
And so everything, all of your actions are from a position of, I love how you just ended it. I'm in a hole.
Yeah.
And until you stop walking around, giving your credit card to a porn company is in the hole behavior.
Yeah.
That is less than. That is, I am desperately trying to feel alive in my own skin.
Yeah, I agree. Don't do that. Lust of the flesh, Christ told us, hey, you got to be done with that. And I know we as men have powerful sex drives that need to be fulfilled. They need to be fulfilled in marriage in order for us to be righteous. You can't fulfill that with OnlyFans and all the other craziness that we know out there. Now, it is tough, though. Even within marriage, you got to find a good woman that's willing to be there for you in that way. And if you don't have that kind of woman, well, you're going to have a tough marriage. I mean, that's all there is to it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, maybe I get some comments below. I don't know. What else can you say? It's going to be tough if you don't have a woman who's willing to be available for you, because men have a powerful sex drive that God has given us. And hopefully that's not a curse. That is a blessing somehow. But many times seems like it's a curse. Anyway, let's go.
You said something that I want to make sure I double click on. That you kind of held some stuff back from her because you were worried about her judging you. But I got a sense that you kind of feel righteous about that. Like, yeah, see, when you found out, you're judging me.
Not really. Okay. And I dove into that as I've always had issues with just being vulnerable.
Yeah.
To just previous life.
Yeah, and he's correct in saying that. Like, yeah, you are. Yeah, that's why you share those kinds of things with your boys, with your accountability partners, with your elders, with your pastor, with your priest. You don't share that with your woman. Okay, she needs to look up to you as the head. That doesn't mean you never confess anything. If you've sinned against her, doesn't mean you don't confess it. That kind of stuff, yeah, forget about that. Go to your boys, go to the guys and say, hey, I need help. I need accountability. We got to, please walk with me, confessing this, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that with the woman. Okay, that's wrong.
But in my world, it is very, very rare for somebody to find an old incidence of paying for or pornography, search history, found an old expense. What was this? Because that story's not super ringing true with me. Either that or she wanted out of this thing so bad that she found a path.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. That
There it is. Jonny D, he can't quite figure out this story. What's going on here? Is it more than just OnlyFans? And the guy says, no, it's just OnlyFans, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and it probably was. And then he says, well, she must have just won out. Ding, ding, ding. There it is. She just wanted out. And I don't think Jonny D made the connection. I made the connection early on here that this man was financially unstable when they got married. And that's why it only went 7 months there with the one. It's hard to believe that they were together 3 years. And then in 7 months, it all falls apart because there's no romance without finance. And you better make sure the financials are making sense or you're out of here. And she found the excuse. Yeah. Now I got a friend at my church. It was not the exact same thing, but his wife was looking for a way out because she had a coworker that she was fantasizing about running off with. And so what was he doing? Well, he was looking at naughty pictures and he shouldn't have been doing that. We all agree. Don't do that. Lust of the flesh. That's wrong. He was doing that. And what did she say? You've done that, so I'm divorcing you because that's an affair, rada. And it was just an excuse because she wanted another man. Boy, isn't that, it's so common. Gentlemen out here, don't believe the nonsense. Listen, don't believe if they say, oh, yes, it's because I'm so betrayed, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It probably is not. We got to get this turned around. Men need to be committed to their wives, the husbands, And wives need to commit and be committed to their husbands no matter what. That's the way scripture says. We got to get it turned around, and we are getting it turned around because Christ is winning. He will win. He said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the Post Millennial Man.